Hello, my name is Ken Ferguson, a combat veteran. U.S. military combat veterans returning from war face many unique adjustments as they attempt to rejoin civilian life. The stressors experienced by military personnel are staggering. Risk of death or injury, witnessing the deaths and injuries of friends and peers, having to kill or wound others, continuous levels of heightened tension and unpredictability, repeated deployments, worries for family, friends, or stability back home. Returning combat vets can be at risk for substance abuse, divorce and separation, heightened anger or anxiety, low self-esteem, unemployment, and more seriously, post-traumatic stress disorder, or more commonly known as PTSD. No one understands the transition from battlefield to home front like someone else who's endured it, managed it, who's been there, like I have. The term post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, was created in the 1970s, largely as a result of the problems that were still being experienced by Vietnam veterans. However, the kind of trauma many veterans experience upon their return home from combat is as old as war itself. Reports of battle-associated stress appears as early as 6th century BC. According to the United States Department of Veterans Affairs, approximately 19% of service members from Iraq experienced behavioral health issues, as well as 11% of service members from Afghanistan. Depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and substance abuse, especially alcohol abuse, were commonly reported among combat vets. Within a year of their return home, approximately 35% of service members from Iraq were seen at Veterans Administration locations abroad for behavioral health issues. Iraq and Afghanistan are also the first prolonged combat engagements involving female soldiers on the battlefield, presenting unprecedented needs and issues for returning female soldiers. While women are more likely to seek help and respond to treatment, they report more symptoms of depression, and according to the United States Department of Veterans Affairs, are more likely than men to have experienced sexual harassment or assault. PTSD not only affects combat veterans, but also his or her family members and friends as well. The stresses and anxieties associated with trauma often transfer to a veteran's spouse and threaten marriages. Studies after the end of the Vietnam War showed that children of combat veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder develop emotional issues of their own. While the U.S. Department of Defense and Veterans Affairs Administration offer counseling and treatment for returning military personnel, the programs are often overwhelmed and underfunded. The provision of compensation to veterans for PTSD is currently under review by the Department of Veterans Affairs, also known as the VA office. The review began in 2005 after the VA noted a 30% increase in PTSD claims in recent years. The VA undertook the review because of budget concerns and apparent inconsistencies in the awarding of compensation by different rating offices. And the diagnosis of post-traumatic stress disorder has been a subject of some controversy due to uncertainties in objectivity diagnosing PTSD in those who may have been exposed to trauma, and due to this diagnosis association with some incidents of compensation-seeking behavior by troops. The sheer number of returning veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan as of recently, 1.8 million plus troops to date, the largest number of battle veterans in more than 30 years, suggests that many options that aid veterans may have very long waiting lists, which may deter some vets from seeking help. Compounding the issue is that some vets may avoid assistance because of the stigmas involved in receiving treatment from an official source, or may simply be ashamed that they are seeking treatment at all. They may also also delay or refuse treatment because they believe the treatment might possibly be seen as weak, or worry that family and peers would also lose confidence in them. In closing, please remember, post-traumatic stress disorder isn't just about trauma, but the underlying factors involved as well. Depression and low self-esteem, readjusting to life with difficulty, relationship difficulties, substance abuse disorders, sexual and emotional problems, as well as hyperaggression and interpersonal violence. No one comes home unaffected by battle. However, combat vets can and do recover from post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and other behavioral health issues. Countless vets return home from war and successfully reintegrate into civilian society, enjoying full and productive lives. However, there has to be a support system in place to increase the likelihood of success for combat veterans and to help ease the transition. Remember, veterans aren't the only ones who can feel the effects of PTSD once they've returned home. Their families are called upon to make difficult adjustments as well. Recognize that homecomings can be tough for everyone involved, whether you're a veteran or someone associated with a vet. Seek support systems that best aid your family, friends, and loved ones. Thank you all, and thank you for serving.